Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to Stars Align Universe podcast episode 4. So today is going to be a reading for the Mars placement, all signs, Aries. So because there was an Aries full moon, I decided to do a reading for the Mars placement because the planet of Mars does go with Aries. Okay. So, what is the Mars placement? Okay. So, Mars placement in your birth chart indicates drive, motivation, how they assert themselves, how they pursue goals, express anger, and handle conflict. Okay. So, that is just something for you to think about here while we are going through the reading. So, if you know what your placement is, great. If not, there's so many ways for you to look it up and find out the information you need to know. And as always, please remember that these readings are for entertainment purposes only. They may or may not resonate, so only take what does and leave the rest for another person to claim, okay? And let's get into this. I'm just trying to light my sage because I always light my sage before I do any type of reading, even though if I've already saged the cards before, I just strongly believe in doing that. All right. So we'll cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space here. Cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. Okay. Cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. I'm just going to get a little bit of this ash off all over here. Okay. My space here needs a little bit of cleaning. Okay. So we cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. We're going to cleanse my energy in the space. Okay. And if you really feel like it, why don't you follow along if you have tarot cards and do your own Mars placement reading and kind of see if it matches up with mine. That would be kind of cool. Let's try that out if that's something you're interested in. Okay. So let's cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. Cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space. Okay, cleanse my energy in the space. Oh, my sage keeps burning out. Okay, if you're listening to me on audio, please consider following me, subscribing if you're here on YouTube. And if you're on audio, you can find me on YouTube at Stars Align Universe. Same title as the podcast. Cleanse the cards, the energy, and the space, and my energy space, all the energy in the space. All right, spirit guide, guardian angels, ancestors, I ask for you to join me today in this reading for all signs for the Mars placements. What do we need to know? What do we need to see? What do we need to hear? Okay, for the Mars placement, starting with the sign of Aries, of course. So, Aries, what do you need to know? Okay, Aries, you have the Queen of Wands, the Ace of Cups in reverse, and the Six of Swords in reverse. Here is many of you are standing in your like independent creative power, following some passions that you believe in. The Ace of Cups in reverse is a little bit of uncertainty, I believe. Some of you are a little bit unsure of what direction you're going to take. However, with the Six of Swords in reverse, I do see you really going to take this direction. You're not going to try something else right now. You're kind of focused. Some of you are starting something new. I heard tarot channels, so some of you may be starting that. And that is saying that give it so long before you give up. All right. For you, Aries, I'm going to give you a little bit of a hint. If you are starting a tarot channel and you like to do lives, that's fine. However, I do suggest for you to also post on your videos. It's something that I have to start doing into the algorithm because I've noticed not all live streams seem to kick into the algorithm properly. So if you're posting actual videos, you have more of an opportunity. That's just a little bit of starter notice for you. So Taurus, what do we have for you for Mars? If you have Taurus and Mars and you have the Hermit in reverse, the Devil in reverse, and the King of Pentacles in reverse. So Taurus, what I see for you is definitely leaving an introspection, leaving toxic energies behind, whether that's yourself or other people. And the King of Pentacles is a need to work on stability. And I believe with you leaving this, you'll be able to. But currently, you may feel a little bit unstable. All right. Maybe a little bit upset, some of you are, okay? Gemini and Mars, what do we have for you, okay? Gemini, you have the Eight of Cups in reverse, the Knight of Swords, and the World, okay? So, Gemini, with the Eight of Cups in reverse, I do see you kind of facing emotions head on here. With the Knight of Swords, I do see some kind of communication or communicative energy or creative ideas to help express those emotions that maybe are feeling like delays. Okay. With the World, I do see some kind of positivity happening out of this whole situation. All right. Next we have Cancer. So what do we have for our Cancer friends here in Mars? So Cancer, you have the Six of Cups. You have the Seven of Wands in reverse, and then you have the Moon, which sometimes could be Cancerian energy, right? I think it's Pisces in the deck, but I see it as Cancer too. Um, you have the because of the planets, right? So the Six of Cups is saying you are working on positive memories. The Seven of Wands does show a little bit of imbalance, though. So some of you may not be feeling at peace with something. And the Moon is saying some of you may be looking within to kind of try find answers on problems you're having, okay? Some of you may need to learn how to express or communicate properly. I do see that something that you may have been in a fight with someone and that may have caused some issues. All right, Leo with the Mars placement. Leo, you have the Three of Pentacles in reverse, the Ten of Pentacles, and the Five of Wands. So I do like this, but it is a little bit conflicting. So Leo, with the Three of Pentacles in reverse, it is a lack of building, but I see it as a lack of community building, okay? However, it jumps to the 10. So that's where it's kind of confusing. So maybe it's a lack of community building around you, but maybe family and friends and that kind of building might be what kind of brings that. Or because you have a lack of community building, you're starting new endings and beginnings, and you're going to build up on something else. Some of you, I'm also seeing you may have lost your job. So that's the end here. You're not able to build anymore on your job. You have to start new, right? Tens equal endings and new beginnings. So you're going to, right? So I do see that being a possibility for you and really, really working on that because right now you're like, what else do I have to lose? Okay. Virgo, what do we have for you, Virgo? We have the Ace of Wands, the Empress card, and the Queen of Wands. So, Virgos, you have a little bit of a passionate kind of creative moment here. The Empress, I do see a lot of success happening here. Building, it's like you're creating something, you're building on it, you're working on it, you're really, really envisioning it, okay? And then you have the Queen of Wands. So I do see success here with your passionate idea, project, whatever it is, something very creative for you, all right? Libra, what do we have for you in that Mars placement? Oh, wow. How did we end up with that? All right, Libra, you got the 10 of Pentacles. So I already see some of you are starting something new right off the bat. With the Three of Pentacles in reverse, this is saying this is not going to be a community project. The Six of Swords in reverse is a little bit stagnant on your ideas, though. There is something that you really want to create, but you're not too sure how you're going to do that. So you're a little bit stagnant. Some of you, before you even talk to anybody else around you, you kind of really want to see if you can figure out different solutions to whatever it is that you want to work on. Okay. So next we have the Scorpios in Mars. Here you have the Knight of Cups in reverse, the Six of Pentacles in reverse, and then Justice in reverse. So Scorpios, definitely something with love that just wasn't working. Okay, there was no equal give and take. And then the Justice, something feels injustice to you. So some of you may feel a little bit scorned right now about love and are a little bit bitter. Okay, Scorpio. So I do see that, or there's a little bit of injustice. I see divorce for some of you, and somebody's playing you, and you're starting to realize that, okay, but you don't know what to do. So that's something I see for you, Scorpio. Sagittarius, what do we have for you? So Sagittarius, you have the Queen of Cups in reverse, the Eight of Swords in reverse, and the Seven of Cups in reverse. So Sagittarius, I do see a little bit emotional here. a little bit of lack of communication, and a refusal to release something. Okay. So I heard pent up aggression. Some of you may have. Some of you may have emotional issues that you have to deal with, and you're a little bit reluctant. Some of you are in complete denial that you are the problem in a situation, and it's only going to get worse if you do not work on whatever it is that you need to work on. Okay. Capricorn, what do we have for you? You have the Nine of Wands, the King of Swords, and the Six of Cups. So, Capricorn, what I see for you is you're kind of like in your power here, right? The King of Swords is you see truth and clarity and you speak your truth, right? And the Six of Cups is you remembering good times, all right? So, I do feel like for some of you, when you are in a situation where you have to speak your truth, um, even if you're mad, some of you are learning or have learned, and this is what it's showing, you're either learning or have learning that you can stand in your power, you can speak your truth, but you can also be gentle about what you're saying because maybe you still have a lovely connection with that person, right? Okay, Aquarius, this is what we have for you. You have the Six of Cups, I shuffled these two, the King of Swords, and then the Nine of Swords. So Aquarius, you have remembering the good times, you have truth and clarity and speaking, and then you have the Nine of Wands. Okay, so Six of Cups, King of Swords, Wands. Sorry, so truth and speaking, and then this independence. Some of you, I am seeing you walking away from something. Thank you for the memories. Here's the good times. I speak my truth. I'm on my own. So it's a little bit different than the Capricorn. Okay. Finally, Pisces, what do we have for you for your Mars placement, please? What do we have for Pisces, please, for the Mars placement? What do we have for Pisces, please, for the Mars placement? And we have Two of Pentacles, the Chariot in reverse, and the King of Wands in reverse. So, Pisces, what that is telling me here is you feel a little bit unbalanced about a situation. All right. The Chariot is no real movement in a direction. And then, the King of Wands in reverse is a little bit of lack of interest in something right now. Okay. Or you're trying to figure out something that, do I actually have the interest in this? Or is it just a thought process? Like, am I really passionate about this? Or is it something that I can kind of not be, right? All right, so let's go with the fire signs first. What is it for the fire signs in Mars placement that they need to know, please? All right, so fire signs, you have the Tower, the Four of Cups, and the High Priestess. So this is saying that the Tower needs to fall. You recognize this. The Four of Cups, you may be kind of memorating on bad times, and you need to remember that there's a lot of good in tough situations. And the High Priestess, I see some of you really trying to connect with your higher being or working through this pain so that you connect into a higher level commitment with another person. Earth signs, what do we have for you? You have the Nine of Swords in reverse, the Five of Swords in reverse, and the Magician in reverse. So this is good. I like this. Now, this upside down may not be good to some of you, but to me, this is good. Okay. So this is no longer listening to the negativity, whether it's yourself or others around you. The Five of Swords is also not letting people bring you down, okay? Because it's in reverse. So the Nine of Swords, Five of Swords in reverse is like a double whammy of I don't care what other people think about me and I don't care what you think about me, okay? And the Magician in reverse, yes, you're not quite where you want to be with your dreams, hopes, desires, wishes. However, this I see taking those steps are going to bring you to this, all right, at some point. But this is showing me it's going to take some time. And that's something you need to be willing to accept, okay? Air signs in Mars, what do we have for you? Air signs in Mars, what do we have for you? Air signs in Mars, what do we have for you? Air signs in Mars, you have the Death and Rebirth in reverse, the Seven of Pentacles in reverse, and the Eight of Swords. So for you, you guys have a little bit of reluctancy on change, right? Maybe fears of change. I don't know where this is going. What happens with the Seven of Pentacles in reverse if it doesn't grow? What if the planting the seeds doesn't work out? And the Eight of Swords, you are literally in your mind so much and in your fears. This is literally telling you to take a pause in a moment and stop. This here is going to create anger and frustration and upsetting. You're going to cause conflict with yourself, but also others around you in your connections. It can also be creative blockages that you find because of this. Okay. Water signs, what do we have for you, please? Okay. Water signs. Water signs, what do we have for you, please? Water signs, what do we have for you, please? What is the water signs and Mars message, please? Okay. Water signs and Mars message. You have the Six of Pentacles, the Queen of Cups, and the Ace of Swords. So many of you, I see equal give and take. Okay, the Queen of Cups, that is you, water sign, standing in your power, very loving, very caring, very energetic. And then a little bit of communication here with the Ace of Swords. So I believe some of you are looking for some kind of equal give and take, however you can get it. In business, you might be very like empathetic towards people, however, a little bit of communication. Some of you may, with family even, maybe somebody knows social media better than you. For some reason, they're showing me this. I will help you out, you help me kind of situation is kind of what I'm seeing here, okay? Next, overall, let's get our collective energy for the Mars placement. Sorry. Collective energy for the Mars placement, please. What is the collective placement for the Mars? Please, collective energy, sorry, for the Mars. All right. Collective energy is the King of Cups, the Devil, and the Page of Cups in reverse. So I just heard breaking relationships, toxic energies will make your relationships fall was one of them. Okay, the King of Swords is being very, yes, you can have emotions, but you're being very cautious. The Devil is toxic energies, right? It can be addictions. Some of you may be struggling with something. It doesn't necessarily mean like drinking or whatever. It could be shopping or whatever. And the Page of Cups in reverse, I'm seeing that as you need to be honest with yourself, okay? Being honest and open will help you see the situation here. And it might actually be the reason of a blockage for financial success for some of you. Okay. So, once again, I would like to thank you for listening to the podcast or watching if you're on YouTube. And please consider subscribing to the channel, following the podcast. And also, I have a Ko-Fi, and that has a podcast tier if you're interested in. It's fairly cheap, and it is linked in my bio, and it will be linked in the description at some point here. If you're on any of the audio places, I will try to link it when I have the opportunity to. However, if you want, you can check out my YouTube channel at Stars Align Universe, like I've said before, and it will be linked there. Okay, and you can purchase a membership, and there'll be additional bonus podcast episodes over the next few months. You'll see them, and I also have different tiers for like YouTube bonus readings or just Ko-Fi based only readings. So if that's something you're interested, otherwise, I do appreciate your time as always. I hope you have a lovely, wonderful, fantastic day wherever you are in the world, you know, evening, night, morning, whatever that makes sense to you. Thank you, and talk to you very soon. Goodbye.